Hello and welcome to today's video. In this tutorial, we will show how to use the Facing tool in Revit. Revit Facing offers significant benefits for construction projects, including improved visualization of the construction process and coordination of its different stages. To open Facing settings in Revit, go to the Manage tab and click Phases to access the dialog box. Here you can manage and edit phases in the current project. Create phase filters to show proper elements on your views, and set graphics for different objects according to their status in each phase. We'll explain how to work with each of these settings. In the Project Phases tab, you can see all phases created in the project. You can rename default phases and add a description on each if needed. To create a new phase, select where you want to place it from the Insert dialog box. Rename created phase, then click Apply and OK. Here is the example how your project phases can look like. Each view in the project can be assigned to the appropriate phase. To set the phase, select the view and apply the needed phase in the Properties tab. To make it easier to manage the views, you can rename specific views according to their phase. We assigned the existing phase on this view, so we can start modeling existing conditions now and setting up graphics for this view. We can create a 3D view and assign phases on those too. It's better to create views on each phase for better project organization and fluent switching between phases you are working with. Phases can be applied to all view types, such as floor plans, 3D views, ceiling plans, and others. Now more about phase filters. To open Phase Filter settings, go to the Manage tab, Facing, Phase Filters dialog box. Here you can see all of the standard phase filters. These filters are used for setting up the appearance of objects with different statuses in different phases. You can also create your own filters by clicking New. Don't worry, we will show how filter works later. Let's move to the graphic overrides for better understanding. These settings are used for setting up the appearance of objects with different statuses on elements that are marked overridden in phase filter settings. Usually, we use red dashed lines for demolished elements, green for new construction, and blue or yellow for temporary elements. You can also change materials for these elements. Shortly, when you set overridden under the specific element status, it appears in graphics that we set in the Graphic Overrides menu. Here is the explanation. We have 5 element statuses for each phase. New defines elements that are created in the current phase. Existing defines elements that were created in previous phases. Demolished defines elements that are demolished in the current phase. Temporary defines elements that are created and demolished in the current phase. Let's try different filter combinations. Filter name describes filter properties, so it's better to use name that will individualize your filter and you know where is better to use it. New is not displayed, so we do not see any elements that are created in current phase. Existing is displayed by category. That means that we will see elements that were created in the previous phases in graphics from the main Graphic Overrides menu or standard element materials. Demolished objects are displayed as overridden. We will see elements that are demolished in the current phase in graphics that we set in Phase Graphics Override menu for demolished elements. Temporary elements are not displayed, so we do not see elements that are created and demolished in the current phase. Let's adjust this filter. Demolished elements are displayed by category now. You can see that demolished wall is still displayed but in default graphics. If we change demolished elements to not displayed, we can see that demolished wall is hidden now. Here is another example. Now we set overridden on new elements, so the wall that is created in the current phase is displayed in graphics that we set in Phase Graphics Override menu for new elements. Everything that was created in previous phases is displayed by category. Demolished elements in the current phase are overridden, so we can see the wall that we are demolishing in this phase in graphics that we set in Phase Settings menu. Temporary elements are still not displayed. Let's change temporary elements to overridden, so we can see objects that are created and demolished in the current phase in graphics that we set in Phase Settings menu. We created the existing building in the proper phase. Let's move to Phase 1 and make some changes to the building. In this phase, we want some elements to be demolished. Let's set the Show All filter for this view. In Modify tab, select the Demolish tool and click on the objects. This means that these elements will be demolished in the current phase. You can see that demolished objects appeared as a red dashed line because for this particular filter, demolished objects were shown as overridden. If we move to the Phase 2, we will not see these elements because they have been demolished in the previous phase. Let's add some new construction in this phase. New elements appeared in black graphics because in Show All filter, there is an appearance by category. We can change the filter where new construction elements are set as overridden. They will appear in graphics that we applied in the Graphic Overrides tab in the Phasing dialog box. In Phase 1, I only want to show previous and demolished elements, so I change the filter. Same with 3D views. For the existing conditions, I set Show All filter. In this phase, we do not demolish anything and do not add new elements, so we can only see the existing building here. In Phase 1 3D view, I want to show the existing building and demolished elements, so I set the proper filter and phase on this view. Now we see red demolished elements and existing parts to remain. In Phase 2, we added new elements, so we can show them by selecting the proper filter. Views also can be divided by different work types in the same phase to better understand the timeline. Here we are creating separate views for Phase 1 to show demolished objects in this phase and new construction on different views. Remember that there is no demolishing phase in Revit. Phases show the process timeline, not the division by work types. Elements can be demolished in different phases depending on the construction workflow. On the new construction sheet for Phase 1, it's good to select Show Previous plus New filter because we showed all the demolition works on the previous sheet. You can see a small part of the new construction, but we did not add new elements in this phase. That happens when doors and windows are demolished, because you remove the openings for these elements so we can see parts that need to be filled up. In Phase 2, we only added new construction elements, so we show which one. For the Phase 1 3D view, we created an additional filter to show previous parts, demolished elements, and areas that need to be filled up, like this door opening. In Phase 2, we are only showing new construction elements, as was mentioned before. Let's talk about temporary elements. This is an additional status for elements that have been created and demolished in the same phase. To show temporary elements, use the proper filter to see new and demolished construction. You can also change the phase where an element is created and demolished in the Element Properties panel. That's it. Subscribe to our channel to keep learning new things with New Vision. Thanks for watching.